Is my screen visible? Okay, okay. So we had completed the fifth module by the last class. So next I will carry out some revision portions. So before that, I will show you one sample question papers that we will be encountering in this semester. So this is a sample question paper that is given. So you can see here, part A, part B, such are given, and you can see here under 3 mark questions that is coming under part A, 10 questions are coming, and from each module there is 2 questions. So if we look at here, first and second is based on first module, third and fourth are on the second module, then comes 5 and 6 in the third module, 7 and 8 in the fourth module, and the last one, the last two. See, the state the evolution of ERP and what is the online analytical processing. So these are all coming under each of the modules. So 2 questions based on each module is coming from part A. Then coming to part B, from each module, you can see how the questions are there. There will be an A part and B part for the respective question, and there will be 2 questions given. Okay, 2 questions will be given. Each carries 14 marks. Okay. Okay. It's an OR question for each module, and you can see how the questions come. So first module and second module we had problems. So we had discussed already about the problems, and for revision class also I will be discussing more problems, but due to the online facility it will not be clear as much. So I will discuss the problems when we come in offline mode.
Okay, sir.
In the online class, I will teach you about all the theory section. Okay, what are the important types? So, here first I will show you what are the basic questions that is coming. So you can see in the module one, one A part will be a theory part. See, you can see here there will be a theory part, and then a problem will come. Okay, so first and second modules you have problems, and always a problem is included. So rarely they can ask a 14-mark question completely. So you can see here for module 2 it is asked here. Describe the role played by materials management function in enabling an organization to achieve profitability. So it's a 14-mark question. So you have to elaborate it very detailed. So if there is a problem, we can directly attend because there is 10 mark for that itself. Then sufficiently small mark is there for the theory session, and you can include only a little. Okay, you can write in a small sentence or a small paragraph or something. You can write it. Here it's only 4 mark. So you can include about 8 points or something. So when you are writing, you have to always keep in mind that do not write it in a paragraph. So you can include it in point ways. So the advantage of using point ways method is nothing but you can elaborate more, and the content size will be more. So the page size and etc. will be more. So you can get more marks. You can score more marks. If you're writing it in a paragraph ways, you can't. You have to write more to attain such a paragraph. Okay, such a position, something you have to write more. So that is one problem. So try to write point wise, and for problems and all, each step should be mentioned. Okay, you do not have to skip any step. So here also, if it's an IMR question, EOQ will take 1 step. Optimum number of orders will be taking an additional 2 steps. Then comes minimum total inventory. That comes also 2 steps. So basically, it is a small problem. But when you write it, you have to get to you have to score this 9 marks. So you have to elaborate it more. So each and every step you can write downwards. After one equal to, you can write the next step in the next slide. So like that you have to write. So in module 2 and module 1, there will be problems in this manner. Then in module 3, you can see A, B, there will be theory itself. So I have already covered all the sessions and the important problems we'll be discussing. So in the first module, basically you can see first one, what are the human factors to be considered while designing a new product? Human factors to be considered while designing a new product. Then the procedure followed by designing a product. So these are the important questions. So human factors are human problems such as psychological attitudes, etc. I have discussed earlier. So if it is uh, directly, I haven't mentioned the human factors, but I have explained it as two parts. One is the psychological attitudes of humans towards work and the company. That is one factor. Next comes ergonomics, something I have called ergonomics was also mentioned, and these are the factors that are contributing to designing a new product. So these two topics are important for this session. Next, for describing the procedure followed while designing a product. So each step from its development stage to its final packaging was mentioned, and I will show you that. So that is coming under the procedure for followed during designing of a product. Then, when coming to essay type, and coming to essay type, inventory classification. So there will be we have studied about the EOQ charts, right? So that is what you have to draw. You have to draw that graph, EOQ graph, then the cost associated by inventories. So there are basically two type of cost I have shown, and with sufficient graph and all, and that you have to draw. And with that, you can complete this question. And problem part, obviously we have already done this problem. Only the values are changed. The same type of problem we have done. Anyway, we will discuss it. Don't worry. Then, what are the principles for good product design? So, based on product design itself, this is the third question. So, here there is one new product design, then procedure for designing, and then the last one, principles of good product design. See, product design is one of the important part. Then again another problem. These are all questions. Okay, you can attend only any one of them. So when dealing with module one, so this is only a sample. There is no previous year question papers, etc. Okay, evolution of industrial engineering was there. This is just for a just for knowing what it is. It is there. It is not an important topic. So evolution of industrial engineering is not important. Okay. Uh, this one is an important topic. What are the functions of industrial engineering? So what are the basic functions of industrial engineering? First one is method study. So under method study, you can see this is the basis of a method study, how we will be studying the basis. So first one, you have to select the procedure or select the procedure that is found in multiple companies, or you have to design a set project, right? Or a product has to be designed. And for that purpose, you have to first create a method in how it has to be done. So already maybe another company or another industry may have done some operations to create that product, and they may have done. So you can record that method itself, or then otherwise you have to implement other new method. So one of the problems when doing a new method is nothing but there will be a trial and error method. So various errors may occur because it's a new procedure, and obviously at the start it must not, it need not be successful. So if it is not done in such a manner, then you can uh, again modify the procedure, and then until you get the correct product, you can redefine the procedure. Okay, so that is coming under method study, and you can see how it is done. So first you are selecting if there is a method you have already seen from other industry, or you have seen an operation of how it is done, you are selecting that, or even the new one is also coming under the select one, then you are recording that procedure. So once you have proven it effective, then you can record the operation or the procedure uh, for standardization. You can standardize that procedure so that everyone can follow and produce that product via that method. So for that you have to record it, and the recording comes also when you can look upon the method from other industry. So first one, you have selected that procedure, then you are recording it to implement it in your company, then you are examining it. So first, after implementation, you are examining if the product is coming out or having that functions that is required there. Okay, so such ways you are examining the method that is already recorded here. Then if it is okay, then you will be developing the product. Okay, you will be developing the product, and then you will define with that uh, if the developed product is okay, then you are defining a procedure for the whole industry for the production of that product. Then you are installing that method or that procedure for the complete production cycle. So every product will be based on the method that we have selected and recorded here. Okay, so for that purpose you are installing it. Then finally comes maintain. So under maintain, you are maintaining that procedure. So without any tweaks, you have already examined all the operations, and you have looked for various changes. Okay, after that you are implementing that without any uh, after implementation you will not be changing it, if only if there is a technological update, or if someone suggests, or base of ERP, etc., we have discussed, right? So basis of that study, we are going to uh, change the procedure. Otherwise, we are always maintaining that procedure up to the time which we do the production. So this is coming under method study. So these are the functions of industrial engineering. Okay, the first one is method study. So under method study, if you draw this, on basis of this, you can explain that step. Okay, method study can be explained in, when you draw this, then you can explain. So if you're involving figures also under the explanation, you will score more marks. Okay, so such a figure if you are drawn here itself, with this you can write the sufficient explanation for method study. Okay, next method or next function is that performing a motion study. So these are all under industrial engineering. Okay, so industrial engineering basis is nothing but we are engineering, we are bringing in engineering techniques into the industry. That is what is known as engineering, right? So you are all an engineer, and the basis of an engineer is nothing but you have to have some technical, and you are applying the field of this technical into all the operations. So what is the advantage there? You can involve the work with much precision, and the precision always gives us quality, and the failure of that product will decrease. Okay, that is what is meant by a quality product, right? So introducing an engineering technical into the industry can improve the production, or they can improve the quality of the product, thereby obtaining more demand. That is why we are doing an industrial engineering. Okay, so the under that industrial engineering, we are performing some functions, or industrial engineering is mentioned by some of the functions, and the first one was method study. Next comes motion study. So method was nothing but the procedure, that is the basis there. Method is always procedure. While motion study, motion comes in the flow of the product. So you know how the product is flowing from. First, there will be a design phase under the design department. After that, the work flows from the design department to a developing department where the product is developed. From that developing department, then it flows to the testing department where a prototype is made and it is tested for the functions or tested for any failures. So that comes under the testing department. Further testing, if it is proven okay, it will be then passed to manufacturing section. If not okay, it is then again resent to the design section so that they can make further adjustment and then finally test it again. Okay, until it is proven satisfied, the product will be tested, and after that, in under the manufacturing section, we will be producing mass producing the product and then packaged and finally sent to the customer. So this is the motion that is occurring inside the industry. So we are performing a motion study. And how do we perform that motion study? You can see here, it is done by breaking down the job. So the whole operation. So an operation such as um, making a glass. Okay, you you know what is a glass and you know how it is made. It is based on the silica that is provided from the sand. Okay, that with that we are making that glass, and that is the job there. We are converting the silica into glass. That is the job there, and every operation related to that is collected. So maybe first one, removing the impurities from the sand. Then comes the cleaning of the sand, and that is the raw material there, right? Then it is molted, or it is introduced to a higher temperatures. So that is the next job. After that, after melting it, we are cooling it down to inside a die. That is the next procedure. Okay. So from that job, we are figuring out all the operations. So each and every operation is collected from that particular work. So we are breaking down the job into work elements. That is the first one. Okay. Then we will analyze um, we can analyze each and every procedures that is occurring. Okay, that is coming under motion study. So we are uh, while by breaking down each of the events or the work elements, we can understand what are the operations carried there and what all have to be carried out. Maybe the time delay. Okay, the delay may occur during a whole job. So think of if the glass can be made in an hour, if it is taking a 1.5 hour, that means there is a delay, right? So the whole job takes 1.5 hours to complete. So that means there is a delay of 30 minutes, but we don't know where that delay is occurred, right? So if you want to understand where that delay has occurred, then you can check each and every work element. If the job is broken down into work elements, you can check each and every work element to understand. Okay, we can break it down into work elements to understand where the delay occurred. Maybe during the cleaning process or by a removal of impurity, some delays may occur, and these delays can be identified much more easier than the whole job included. Okay, so that is the effectiveness of using a motion study. So that is another function of industrial engineering. The first one was method study, second one was motion study. Next comes time study. So time study already I have already mentioned, by breaking it down to work elements, we can understand the delay of time, right? In the same way, we are analyzing the time here. So we have already broken each job into different operations or into different work elements, and from that we can obtain a time. So we are keeping a time for each and every process. So maybe for cleaning the raw material, we are giving a time of specified 15 minutes. So under that 15 minutes we have to complete. So that is the function of industrial engineering. Okay, engineering is always technical, right? Up to the correct value it must be there. That is why it is called engineering. So in the same way, in industrial engineering, if we are suggesting a time or a deadline is given, we have to keep that time to perform the correct activities, and only that time must be taken. That is what is coming under performing a time study. So this is another function of industrial engineering. First is method study, second one motion study, then comes time study. Next, production planning and control. This is another function of industrial engineering, and under this, uh, okay, under this you can see the production cycle. So the production is done on basis of the number of products that has to be produced in a day or in a specified amount of time, maybe during a month. So it depends. Okay, so that is called production. So we are, that is known as productivity. The number of products that is being produced in a day or a particular period of time is known as productivity. Under that production, if you want to increase the productivity or if you want to reduce the productivity based on the inventory that is to be managed, we have to know how is the procedure done, or how much products are being produced, or how much if the productivity increases, what are the inventory costs that is coming into play. So these all we have to know. So for that we have to understand the production cycle coming there. So for understanding it, that is coming under production planning and control. So we are, you can see here, it is written here, a critical balance must be maintained to utilize resources such as labor, material, and equipment. These are the major resources under an industry. Major resources are labor, material, and equipment. Okay, these are the major resources. So these resources have to be managed. So we have already seen many resources while studying the fifth module, and under that labor, material, and equipment was also there. Further other resources were there. So basically any component of the industry that is responsible for the production of the product is termed as a resource in the industry. So an equipment determines the productivity, the labor determines the productivity, the material or the raw material, products, work in process products, etc. also determine production. Hence these are all called resources under the industry. So we have to balance these. So for a particular work to be done, we only maybe require a few labor or a multiple labor. That depends upon the job there, right? So the number of labor determines production. Another thing is the material available, or the material in the sense raw material or work in process product, components from other subcontracting based companies, etc. Okay, these material also determine productivity. Obviously, if there is more material present, the production cycle and the productivity will be high, so we can produce more products. So if it is less number of products will be produced. Okay, then comes the equipment. Equipment is the work tool or the machine that is responsible for the production. So if you have a more technologically upgraded machine, you can produce high quality product. And also if you have multiple number of machines, then you can produce more product uh, by by making more labors. Okay, so that is the balance here. So if you have more machines, you need more labors to operate that machines. So that is how that balance is being made. Okay, so you can increase the productivity, but you must have sufficiently more material when you have more machines. Okay, there is more machines, you have more labors, so you can increase the productivity, but you must always require more material so that you can produce that product. So the demand of material will be high. So these are all coming under production planning and control. You are controlling the production cycle here. So how the production has to be done, how many products has to be produced. So you're controlling if you want to reduce the amount of production. So because the inventory is being stocked up with all the products and there is no sufficient space in the inventory, then you have to control the production, right? So this is also another function of industrial engineering. So you must first understand how much products is being done during a day or during a time period. That is coming under time study, and according to that you can control the production cycle. Okay, that is the fourth function. Then comes the human resources. So human resources, I have already told you about the manpower that is required to run the industry. So laborers are there and they are responsible for the production cycle. For automated uh, production cycle, the resources or the human resources is replaced by automated systems such as robots, etc. And these take over the function. Still, these are resources. They are termed as resources because they are involved and they control the production there. Okay, so the number of laborers determine the production. In the same way, the number of robots also determine the production. Okay, so these are coming under human resources and they deal with the labor requirements, and for each and every purpose or for each and every thing a human requires is controlled by the HR department. So the department I have already told you before, it's called an HR department, and they determine and monitor the work person's requirements. Okay, so these are coming under human resources, and they will the activities included under the department are, you can see here, job description and classification, wage and salary survey. So that is one main point there, wage and salary survey. Then the payment structure, incentive plans, and manpower analysis, etc. These are some of the activities coming under HR department, and the human resources is monitored by this HR department. So that is another function. So first one was method study, then comes motion study, then time study, method, motion and time, then production planning and control, human resources, next establishing the performance standards. So the importance of establishing performance standards. There is something called the key performance indicators, which we'll be studying in the third module, right? We have already discussed about that. So that is key performance indicators. So some basis we are forming. So maybe the amount of products an individual has produced per day. Then next one is the cycle, the production cycle or the quality of the product, etc. So these are all some indicators. So if it is a better quality product, you will be writing the quality as good. Okay. If it is a defective one, you will be writing it as low. The public quality is low. Okay. So such is the performance standards here. And similarly, some standards are kept for everything, even the work personnel, the product that is being produced, the machine that is or the equipment that is being used, etc. All has some performance standards, and depending upon the standards only, the work is being done. So it is the function of industrial engineer to ensure that these standards are kept, or to ensure the performance of the work machine, the production quality, etc. These are being checked by the industrial engineer. Then also, performance standards can help in developing. So you can see here, developing performance standards tell the workers how well they have to do the work. So if it is a good work, obviously you can keep continuing that method to produce the mentioned product. But if it is an average or a poor work, then you have to obviously improve that method for better quality products. So that is also another way to understand if the by the performance standards, and you can understand if the work is better or poor. Then standard times are used for planning machine and labor load and for assigning cost. So some time description already I have told you under time study, where you are fixing an amount of time or the duration of time under which the production has to occur or the operation has to be completed, right? And depending upon that also we can, it will also influence the performance indicators or the performance standards. So if you are keeping and the production is done under that time or even before that time, it is always a good procedure, right? Or it is a good performance standard. But if it is taking a time delay or if the time is taken more than the mentioned time, then obviously the performance is poor, and hence that performance will be classified or categorized under a poor performance. Okay, this is another function of industrial engineering. Next is statistical quality control. So quality in the sense is nothing but the uh, product has to satisfy the function that is already stated by the company or stated by the uh, customer, and that is set as the objective in the company. So the customer is giving the function or customer is demanding such and such function has to be done, and for that a product has to be designed and sent to them, right? That is the customer demand there, and based on that demand we are setting some objectives, and depending upon that we are trying to make a product that can satisfy the set functions. And if it is not satisfying such functions, then it is a low quality product. While and if it is performing exactly according to that function and also doing that function for a multiple period of time without any failure, then it is said to be a high quality product. So for that quality control, we are based on the performance standards. Basically, I have told earlier, with, within that limits only we are creating the quality of the product. So you can see here how the quality is stated here. So you can see there is a defect and a defective product. Okay, there is a defect means a product has shown a singular defect. Defective means the product is will fail within a short period of time. So that is what is shown here, and there are four type of production processes. Okay, you can see here the first one is uh, the four type of this is given, and you can see here surface mark, incomplete, misshapen, and other. Some of the defects that are commonly seen are surface mark. There will be for a quality product you can see one scratch or something like that will be present on that product, and that is called a surface mark. Then comes an incomplete product. So incomplete in the sense the component is missing or um it is not assembled properly, and it is a work in process product. So in such a product it is called incomplete product. Then comes misshapen product. So misshapen means in the sense the shape is different. And last one, the other category. Okay, under this you can see the more defect and defective part comes under misshapen part. So under this you can say that this is the most low quality product, while the high quality will be obviously this one, wherein the defect and defective products is coming very low. Okay, while others contribute to some defect and defectiveness, and hence their quality will be much lower than this one, but it will be higher than this misshapen product here. Okay, so such is the quality analysis or the quality control that is being done. Okay, I will wind up the session today.
Sir, series in the important question.